doing it. You supposed to be happy you sitting there with Kid L. Why you mad?
The Kid L podcast.
Rocking and rolling, man. We have Darren McCarty in the building. How are you doing today, man?
Good, Kid L. Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, man. It's a freaking honor to have you on here. So, Jazz hit me up. Jazz, the CEO, hit me up. She said, I'm working with Darren McCarty. Would you be interested? I said, are you kidding me? Darren, I grew up watching you, man. I grew up watching the Red Wings. I grew up watching, just hockey just for the Red Wings. So I can't ever say I'm a hockey NHL fan. I say I'm a Red Wings fan at the end of the day. But you are a huge reason why watching you play, everybody titles you the enforcer. But at the end of the day, I know you take that with honor. Yeah. But at the same time, you were more than that to a lot of people.
Yeah, but
man.
That's okay, right? Being part of the grind line and in the hockey community, not only for the Red Wings, but also for the world that knows that you're part of a line when they bring up grind line. Oh, McCarty, Draper, Maltby, Kosher even. And it's that's amazing. What I love is that you reminded me that we ran into each other a few years ago at a Trick event down at the Joe Louis Post, and yes. I remember it flashed back into it. And I think what's important is that it was really cool. You mentioned Jazz. Jazz, she calls herself the CEO. I said she should change her name to the Executor because the one thing about me is if I say it once, I'm going to do it twice. And what I love is people that also are willing to put in the work and have passion for what they do. And so, everybody knows as I'm sitting here puffing on this Jagger right here.
Yes.
The fact that I have the Darren McCarty brand and the CBD and the CBN and everything is important to me, but it's relationships, it's compassion, it's people. And what brings me around to that you have a great touch with your fan base in the city and what's going on because you care. What we're talking about is whether it's a hockey Pistons, Lions, Tigers, whether it's a music scene, whatever, it's the love of this city. And I think that everybody shares that. I always joke that I'm Detroit's favorite stepson because I'm from across the border, right? But I mean that with honor as much as the enforcer, but it's much more than that. I'm much more than I believe it's all given back. So when I get to unite with people like Jazz, when people like yourself, people like, the Al Harringtons and the Calvins and the Rob Sims and the people that are doing similar things in this business, and in the community, right? In the community in all different ways because it's love and trying to show that if you care, if you want to put the work in, right? If you want to do the work, then, you can manifest your own reality too. And I think that the fact that the beauty is now you're older. This isn't 1997.
Right.
You aren't 9 years old, right? As Nick was telling me when he was back when we were winning. But there's impressionable age. When I was 12 years old, the Tigers won the World Series in '84. Right, but now you've grown up.
Yeah.
Right, so we just celebrated the March 26th year anniversary, March 27th, March 26th, 1997, the Lemieux Sweet Revenge. I call it Red Wing D-Day.
Yep.
I was slayed. I'm a little biased. I slayed the dragon and got the goal, but there was just something that we all understood together that the proverbial black cloud, it's going to be all right. Don't know what it means. It's going to be all right. Now we're just waiting for the next one because the second one was Steve Yzerman came back as GM and vice president. And now we just wait till he gets this team together and we're right there. So in 3 years, when this team's good, vying for championships, we're downtown high-fiving at different places, knowing because the community and the fans are together. Because you remember when you were younger, how it was. We're going to bring that back. What did we miss? Show the younger kids. And then also, too, is get back into it because we love this city, man. That's what, and when I see your stuff and whenever you come across, that's what always reminds me is, man, to love the city in a different way, to tell a different story and connect with maybe that's that's the whole thing, the beauty where I'm glad you said Jazz works with Darren McCarty because that's what it is. And it's because I think that no matter what, it's just learning, understanding, knowing different things and wanting to be better and reach we have the same compassion for other people, right? So that's what joins.
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking about that before I got to talk to you. I said, there is, people say I'm a lover, I'm not a fighter. But when I looked at you, I always look at it, that dude's a fighter because he's a lover.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's in you like
Oh,
that.
absolutely. The gladiator, you know, I will fight for the honor of whatever else, like loyalty. You know, my thing is being the enforcer is like, guys, listen, it's not really like this act of moral bravery. It's just that my fear, right? My fear, it isn't greater of dying. It's greater of letting any of my guys go before me. I get back in the old days, the Romans, when you watch Gladiator and you see, you know, Russell Crowe in front and then the most important guys leading the charge. Yeah, because you know what? If you get by me, I'm gone. What do I care next? I'm on to the next level, wherever I'm on to next, right? Like, and it's more or less that some people, that's a fight or flight, and you know, and it's something of who you are. Now it's being able to use whatever the superpower of being through a lot of different things, but using that championship mentality and trying to use it in a great way and letting people know that they can tap into their own.
Well, yeah, and you know, when you talk about championship mentality, for somebody like myself, where I'm like, you know, when I was growing up, I always wanted to strive to be at the top level of whatever the hell I do. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't get there, and I didn't work hard enough for it to happen at the level I expected to at the age that I am now, right? And I think it's because social media makes it easier for people to get a little bit of acknowledgement. So you start letting a little bit of your dreams go because it's like, hey, I got this thing, you know, I built enough attention off of this. But somebody like you who made it to the top level, the elite of the elite, your mindset had to have been somewhere to get to that point, right? So what is like a championship mentality mindset? How do you get yourself there?
You know what? It's never letting anybody tell you what you can and you can't do. It's about priorities, and when I say about priorities, it's got to be number one beyond anything else. Like if I give a great example, it's like, so I didn't grow up and didn't go to prom. I mean, I went to prom, but I didn't go to mine, and just, you know, I missed all the parties and all the Friday nights and all the different stuff like this. What my friends got to do. Because of the sacrifice, because of just the focus on, it was like, there was one of these things, I'm almost afraid, it's like the mentality, like I just said about being the first one in. There was a saying that we live by is do it to the best of your ability or don't do it at all. I was allowed to do anything I wanted, but I had to give everything at it, right? So I figured out that what I had to do is I had to be 100% all in on. Now, here's the whole thing is that in my story is that I was the same way 24/7, 365, right? I knew who D-Mac, right? The guy on the ice, D-Mac, that superhero. I knew who he was when I was 6 years old. It took me to 46 to meet Darren McCarty, right? So now I'm getting the best of both worlds, but it's the mentality that you never... The more somebody told me I couldn't do something, the more I just did it just to shove it up their ass. Yeah. There's no more greater accomplishment. So that's the motivating factor. Now, one thing that I've learned, because I have so many passions. I do so many things. I have a band, I do a comedy tour, do wrestling. I have a Woodward Sports show. Sports show, you know, I do podcasts and I do other things. Now, what I had to realize is that I know what I do well. You know, I'm not just the singer of the band Grinder. I'm the singer of the Darren McCarty brand, but I'm not playing the whole band. I'm not a Timberlake. I'm not a solo act. I need the band behind me. Hence where the Jazzes comes in. Hence where my guys Nick and Haas and Aaron and Chris and the different people that I surround myself with come in, because I'm only that good. So when I'm pushing the hardest at one thing, then my attention moves to something else and we let everybody catch up, because then everything's working together. So it's just learning and being self-aware and stuff like this. And the biggest lesson I would just say is don't lie to the person in the mirror. Yes. No matter what it is, good, bad, or indifferent. So are you doing, because if you look yourself in the mirror, you know, you don't even have to ask yourself when you know you're cutting corners. You can't cut corners. Yeah. Priorities means like everybody goes, oh, I'd do anything. Would you do anything? No, because you got to give everything up to get your dreams, you know, because you can't just go boop, 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 I'm there. Sometimes you got to go here to get here, to here, to get here. What are you willing to do? And more than not, I believe in God, and God's test is are you in or are you in the way? Are you committed?
Yeah.
And so it's keeping your intentions pure and the faith that you're putting the right work in over and over and surrounding yourself with the right people.
Right, because I've had friends that played at very high levels in hockey. Like I grew up around all hockey players. All my closest friends were all hockey players.
What area did you grow up in?
What's that?
What area?
Metro Detroit.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of my guys were playing, AAA and like beyond that, state, losing at the finals, all that stuff. And I seen the guys who did make it to the NHL too, though. I didn't get to meet them personally, but I saw that they're friends with people who made it to the NHL. So my friends played against guys who've been to the NHL. And I do notice with my friends, and I love Moose and I love all you guys, but I do see why.
Commitment.
Exactly, right? Distractions, right? One of my friends.
Commitment. What's the priority?
Yeah, exactly, right? So I guess that's part of it too. It's like you said, you prioritize things and you stuck to it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was not going to be stopped, and if I did, then I had to. If you don't accomplish that, I had to be okay with it. I put the work in, and it wasn't my path. But I always believed since I was 6 years old, I was going to do what I was going to do. Now, would I have said I was going to score a Stanley Cup clinching goal, beat up the biggest villain in the world, and win 4 Stanley Cups? Not even me, probably. But it happened. Right. That's real.
Let's rewind a little bit. So you're from Canada, right?
Yeah, Leamington, Ontario. And
you went to school there and everything like that. Detroit. You're heavily engraved in Detroit right now. Like heavily engraved.
I always have been since I grew up playing sports against Detroit growing up and doing stuff like that. So the house I grew up in, give or take 10 minutes for the border, was 40 minutes to Joe Louis Arena.
So before NHL and stuff like that, were you still hopping back and forth between Detroit?
Yeah.
So
I Olympia when I was 5 years old in '77. The Tigers won the World Series in '84. Used to come over to Tiger Stadium, old Tiger Stadium. Used to go, used to always remember that my uncles and stuff were all excited because they come over and get cigarettes and beer because it was so cheap and fill the gas up, and making these trips in the back of the old station wagons and crossing the bridge, and how things have changed. And then being from the area, everybody, like I was 19 in Windsor also, so I mean it was like we all have a lot of 19-year-old Windsor memories. So I grew up over on that side, and but I had a lot of influence because I saw a lot of concerts, saw a lot of wrestling events, saw a lot of hockey games, Joe Louis Arena, Cobo Hall, Pine Knob, all that stuff, Auburn Hills.
So is the internal there in Detroit, or is it more Canada?
No, it's I'm like 90% Detroit.
Wow.
Like Detroit and Michigan, because I consider that too. It's just I've lived over here since 1992.
Okay.
So I've been over here over 30 years.
Wow.
I never went home.
Wow. What was the decision like when you left home?
No, it was just more or less that I liked over here, and I like the water because it's sort of like a moat. Keeps people away.
Okay.
Right? So
that's interesting. Yeah. To leave home though, man, and it's like a different.
Oh, dude, I left home when I was 16 or 15. Played, junior hockey and stuff like that. You grow up real quick.
Yeah.
You learn a lot of good and a lot of great and a lot of probably not so good things, but we're here today.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like you left the home, you got off the porch early, and I guess that's what they say in the hip hop culture is you hopped off the porch.
I love it, dude. I love it. I was porch hopping. Now it's using all those lessons.
When I just want to stick on like the competitive mind state and becoming a champion mind state for a second. When you're developing yourself as a hockey player and you're going through those motions, your mind is strictly the NHL, right? It's never like No,
it's next level. It's the next. What's the next task at hand, right? So for me, like the reason I was never gonna make it was because of my skating. Because it wasn't gonna be quick and whatever. So I did power skating, as much skating practice as I could, and went to different schools and stuff, and got it up to snuff. See, I was given the ingredient, right? By my junior, when I moved away from home, my coach, he told me that if I wanted to make it to the NHL, right, I had to do something 99.9% better than every other person that played. And for me, it was going to be play physical, fight, hit, all that stuff. So it's a pretty easy motto. And the game's changed, and you can't really use it as much today, but it was like every first year in every league, all you do is fight and just play physical, and you work on your skills and do your, all the stuff, but you don't worry about scoring. What it does is it gives you room, right? It gives you room. It gave me, so my first year in junior, I scored like 12 goals. Next year, I scored 30, and then last year, I scored 55 and won Player of the Year with 185 penalty minutes. So you also, and so then back to square one, played in the minors, 45 majors, my minor, come to Detroit, 23. Yeah. You just, and it gets you respect, and it was just a different mindset, but it worked. So once I was given the recipe, right, then I stuck to the game plan.
Yeah. When I used to play ice hockey, and I can't do anything good at hockey. I'm like terrible at hockey. So once I realized I was terrible, but I wanted to be a part of the team, they were like, listen, man, just stick to getting in front of the net. Like they used to tell me, just stick to getting, because that's all.
Homer.
And all you can do is hit the stick in front of the net, man. Like you're not good at anything else. So for me, I was always like, okay, I know my role and I know how to play it. But with you had so many different abilities, so many different skills, so many things, but you stuck to like, hey, I'm going to be really, really good at this one thing to stand out.
And work on everything else, because then it's like, what are you the best at, and how can you be, what cog in the wheel are you? You look at our Detroit Red Wings team. They didn't need the eyes of the Fedorov. You needed me to be me.
Yeah.
Right?
Which brings me, like, I was listening to this one fucking interview, which, like, I was so fucking pissed. This dude, Danny or something like that. I don't know his name, but he was saying basically, like, the grind line guys don't matter or something like that. Or, like, you were expendable to a certain degree. And for me, it's like, what the hell are you talking about? Every piece of the puzzle matters.
He hasn't won.
That's all I gotta say,
he
man.
Hasn't won.
Have you seen Moneyball? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, but it's not even that. It's part of the chemistry. We have to have guys to buy in, and you know what? It's also too is the top guys got to buy into these guys, because we bail their ass out when they can't do it. But why do we do it? Because we feel appreciated by our top guys. That's why it's not when, it's when with the Detroit Red Wings now in 2023. I expect them, they're not going to make the playoffs this year, but I expect it next year, and then they start on their journey to win another cup. What is that going to be? 4 or 5 years? Who cares? It's coming. Yeah. Steve Yzerman will not be denied. He won't. He doesn't fail, bro.
Talk a little bit about the moment you realized, okay, now you score 50. You're scoring massive goals, right? You're doing it for your team. Now you're getting into the NHL. You're breaking into that.
Back to square one. What's the recipe doesn't change.
Do you
first year in a new league? You got to establish the toughness.
Right. How long did it take you to get it together and know exactly what you wanted to do when you're playing at the professional level, the elite level?
You're always
of NHL?
trying to get better, but the best part is I'm playing with. When I end up playing with like 12 or 14 Hall of Fame guys. Yeah. So we're practicing against each other every day. I get to play against Steve Yzerman and Sergei Fedorov, and then Pavel Datsyuk comes along, and Zetterberg, and Lick Lidstrom. That was a lot of fun. You know why we were so angry, we played so physical, the grind line, is because we never touched the puck in practice. Gosh darn it. I mean, like, it makes sense why we were so angry.
Yeah.
We go get it back. And so it's just, do you accept your role in life? Do you accept your role on the team? That's why I'm an ultimate team guy. That's why it's, even though with a lot of stuff, my name's at the top, that's just to draw attention and whatever I do. But it's about the process and the people behind me and everything like that. That's the way that I operate. I mean, I don't work well when it's about me. That's, we go back to everything else. When it's about the person beside me, or I got to be accountable to somebody else, that's when I thrive. Not accountability to myself. That's self-sabotage.
Right. So when you get out there, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do this. Right. Yeah. Like mentality-wise, at least.
Yeah.
And it's never going to go to branch up out of that. When I used to play hockey, I remember I had a cousin that would want to play like Pavel Datsyuk, but you're not a Pavel Datsyuk, so you can't do that. Why don't you just play to your best ability, right, at the end of the day? But for you, again...
Well, I get to be Pavel Datsyuk, like in the alumni, or if I play against you. I mean, I'll seem like, that's easy.
You probably could, but it's
no,
like,
I can. Yeah. I do. I still play alumni. I mean, I get out there against like the old timers and stuff, and then I'm like Gretzky and stuff like that sometimes, and that's not bragging.
What I was saying is, when you were playing on the Red Wings, even though you had that role, the role that you picked and decided to keep pushing on, you could have done other stuff if you wanted to. You could have.
Because that's not the role you're playing. Right. When you were asked upon it, that's when you stepped up. And that's why when we're playing with the, 5, 6, 7 out of 10 nights, the Eisermans, the Shanahans, the Federers are getting it done, but the other 2 or 3, they're not. So who has to step up? We got to have talent to step up. And it's not like you weren't trying to step up before, but maybe there's more of a focus. Maybe your matchup, maybe you're just owned, because we check the number 1 line a lot of times, but most those between Chris Draper and Kirk Maltby would like just abuse everybody so much, like they would get sick and tired. You can make people like we would. The one thing that made the grind line so is we would exact our will against you, and we'd get you to quit, and that's what would be effective.
Jesus. Yeah.
You don't want to play against us.
And then when the time comes, hey, I can bring out that hat trick too. Like,
well, if you just need it, right, I just might as well do it for game 1 of the conference finals in 02 when you're down 3-2 going to third period. Might as well do it for the, in a natural hattie. I mean, I don't write the script, dude. I just follow along. He's writing it, dude.
You did things the right way. That's the way I look at it. You did it the right way.
I tried to.
That's why when I was watching the interview, I was so pissed. I was like, first of all, I don't know this dude. I don't really know him at all. I was just watching.
Well, I don't know his stats, but they probably don't really matter.
Yeah.
Right? Does he have more than 4 cups or at least 4?
But the reason those guys bother me, because I've been just like you. I've been in a band. I played with teams. I've won championships before on low levels, but I've still won.
But winning's winning, dude. I don't digress. It's like I tell my kid, who's the head coach, my son Griffin, who's 27, is the head coach of the UCLA Bruins Men's Hockey Club Division 2. He had dreams of playing in the NHL, and I said, dude, just because I played and won cups, that my love for the game is not greater than yours. It's different.
Yeah.
Winning's the same. I don't care what it is. Winning, man, beating your homie, and I don't know if you're playing whatever like that on. You're playing Madden or whatever you're playing online. Winning's winning. We all love winning. So that's a common thread that we can all understand.
When you watch interviews and stuff, when I watch interviews, post game interviews, I always do wonder that, like, when you're talking to somebody who has literally zero clue about anything about winning or championships or anything to that caliber, does it bother hockey players? Does it bother like people who are elite players?
Yeah, it's entertaining.
Really?
Well, you know what? It's different because I got to check, because really it doesn't matter. But like, are you at the end of the day? Do you have grounds? Everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? But do you have validity to the grounds of your opinion? That's why, have you played? Did you play the game at least? Do you understand the dynamics of the locker room? Sometimes I get lost in that when I say the hashtag why is it playing 1919, because it's like the Steve Eiserman's going to get this team to where they need to be, because I trust no matter what in him. And he's running the show. Yeah. So when I get frustrated, I don't have to worry about it because he's in charge. I think of that. So it all depends on, it doesn't, it's more amusing, but then it also depends where it comes from. If you value their opinion or whatever, but everybody's entitled to their opinion, and just most people, when it comes to trying to understand championships and what it took to do it, different ways, then I gotta dig into why are you talking about this? Or why are you spouting like
Right.
Because I want to know why you think that. Does somebody tell you that? Because if you didn't play, then how do you even understand that?
Right.
I don't need to know the right or the wrong. I need to know the why. So you have to explain the why. That's what I tell all my guys and girls and stuff, is to always be prepared for me to go, why did you do that? Or why, what were you thinking? Or why are you thinking this?
Intention.
Yeah, obviously, that's the number one rule around me is keep your intentions pure. If you always do, no matter relationship, you're gonna disagree and you're gonna get heated and you're gonna yell and scream or whatever. But if I know you have pure intentions towards, we're about the end goal. It's not about us. It's about our ideas and the way we see it, and it's okay because there's an understanding. Because there's a lot of things that I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Right, that are blatantly like I can't believe, but it doesn't mean just because I can't believe it that it's not the truth to somebody, just like I was saying, that has been there, that has lived it.
Yes.
And that's why I'm looking to please educate me where I'm not. I don't pretend to know everything, but I'm a facilitator of knowledge because knowledge is power, and I love it. I always used to laugh because we've seen the movie 300, right?
Yeah.
Right, Leonidas and all that, and everybody thinks of Leonidas, and no, I'm the messenger with the one eye that they send back because I'm the narrator. dude. I'm the orator of the story to whatever else, and all the knowledge, the cannabis knowledge, and all this stuff, and especially the CBD and the CBN and the interactions and the entourage effect and the ensemble, and why terpenes are more important, and why you're looking for a certain compound, because the bottom line is, what is the effect, right? What effect are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to accomplish, right? Like at the end of the day, and I only know that because I surround myself with people smarter than me, and I go and I listen and I research and I do these because I'm passionate about it, because this plant saved my life, and it's for everybody that ever was where I was, that thought that they didn't have an option.
Yes.
And they do, and that's all it is. It's all about, do you know you have an option? Do you know? And the bottom line, Darren McCarty is either here to fight or answer your question. That's it. What do you mean by that's all day? Let's do it, and then apply it, and go and do your work, and let me be proud, and let you go and get to a place where, if you see my tattoos, 11/11/15 is my sobriety date. No pills or booze since that date, 2015.
Jeez.
So I'm coming up on 8 years and stuff like this, and I realize it's, like I said, it's not about me anymore. It's about everybody else, which makes me more powerful. And it's just the comfortability of who I am in my own skin, again, because I don't lie to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's gonna do a quick
what
mic.
did I do?
Let's dive into that too, man. Like I told you, I met you at a trick event a couple years back. And cannabis is awesome because it's building businesses for people, and it's like, finally like legalized in a way where you can sell it, and as long as you do the proper steps, you can make a living off of it and help other people make a living off of it. And it's bringing people together too, and it's a huge part of the culture. Marijuana is a huge part of the culture. A lot of cultures, at least, anyway. Talk about how you broke into that field.
Yeah, it saved my life. 11/11/2015 is the last time I used alcohol or pills, and if you know my story, I was 285 pounds. My organs were going to explode. I was literally probably had less than a week to live, because after I retired in 2009 till that date, I was playing Nicolas Cage and Leaving Las Vegas, where I was drink myself pretty much to death. Like, I would drink probably a case of beer and a fifth a day. Not good, but I didn't want to die, but I didn't care. I didn't have a purpose. I didn't, a lot of different things. So fast forward, I got to a point where literally I had to make a decision, and thank goodness that the compassion of the cannabis community, and I was ready, because mentally, spiritually, I've been ready for a year, and I've been on and off. I've won 4 cups, and I've been sober for all of them. I've never drank out of the cup till like 2013, after I was retired, just because I was sober for years. I've been sober for 10 years straight and stuff like this at different times. It's just, there was always that date and everything else. But because I was at such a point, I made a decision that the cannabis community and Rick Simpson oil, it's called RSO, the plant at its most concentrated form. I was given 10 to 15 grams a day, which made you purge everywhere. You're either passed out or you were throwing up and getting all the toxics, because it was like the at-home detox. My wife's a nurse, so we did it actually we had a room in the garage for 7.5 days, and I was doing 10 to 15 grams until I got out of this sort of coma, and I didn't have the physical addiction to alcohol, and got on my knees, and I was grateful. And then I got mad. Got mad at because I was lied to, and I got mad because I've been through so much, and I'd like, do you know that there's an option? So from that day, I dedicated, and I said, I'm going to make a difference. And it's one of those things about saying it and doing it.
With the NHL career, how much were you, how much drugs or alcohol, how much addiction was there during the NHL time? Because I know you said you were staying sober for the most part.
So I drank, up until 96, May of 96, and I was sober till June of 2006. Then I got sober again when I made my comeback, and then after I retired, I got into my addiction until 2015. Mine, it was alcohol, pills come along with that, other substances come along with that, but mine hit number one. And then the cannabis. So then getting educated about it and realizing more and more, it's because it's, like I said, what are you trying to accomplish in effect? For me, I'm a alcoholic insomniac. So to realize that I drink to pass out.
Yeah.
So the CBN, when I was introduced to that, and the way that really, like, the first thing I ever created was CBD roll-on. Why? Because if I'm going to have that conversation with you, do you know the effect? And if I can roll something on your skin and you can say, wow, then we can start that conversation, how your system's working. CBN for sleep, right? Once you could realize that you could operate your system where you could get your thoughts to realize, and you could let your body get into a state where you could actually get rest. That's a game changer.
Yeah.
Those are the number one things. And and obviously my love of flour and different things that I've come across, you want to have a staple. So I, along with Tyler, I created Black Eye, which is Purple Punch 2.0 by Faithful D by Fruity Pebbles, which is sort of the Death Star pre-98 Bubba, which is more of the relaxed couch one. But I like the one that takes the anxiety down or just lets me focus a little bit. You know, I like to be outside, enjoy the weather and the grass to be greener, and just enjoy life a little bit more. Like, and I'm not going to sit here and lie, dude. Is that I don't think I could live life without the plant, just in different ways. And it's more for pain relief, to be able to know that when I go, you know, do some dumb wrestling stuff for going through tables and stuff like this, that when I can't bend my arm, I know I can rub some lotion that even I created, or somebody else like my good friend Rob Sims and Calvin Johnson created with the CBD to make the pain go away.
Yeah, I mean, I use CBD all the time, man. I think, you know, I follow the Indian culture a lot and a lot of their philosophies. And one thing is, in the spiritual, when you really want to become spiritual, right, you take control of your mind, your body, and your energy. The only thing that makes it very difficult along the spiritual journey is if your body's in some type of injury state. So if you're feeling uncomfortable all the time, it's way harder to move forward versus if your mental state needs some adjustments. And you've probably been through a lot of shit with your body, bro.
Isn't that understandable for anybody listening to this about, you know what, when you got to get up and do whatever you got to do, if you got that kink in your knee or your ankle or whatever, your back's a little sore, man, like, or if you got to go for a drive for 3 hours and you know, man, my back's going to act up, then you don't look forward to it. So that makes so much sense.
Yeah, that's why it's like, okay, if we found a way to help our bodies move forward through the day, then let's utilize it. Marijuana is a huge part of that. It can help you a lot. It's natural. CBD is natural. Going to the doctor is scary, man, because I've had friends go to the doctor and it makes things worse and not better.
Dude, they gave you, in my experience, they give you one that cures one and makes two more and stuff. With the holistic, and I think it's the same. See, I always look at it as like people go organic with their food. They, you know, their milk with all the different things. It's the same thing. How do you operate your body? You're gonna eat healthier. You know, why don't you care what you consume as far as a plant? You know, that you know has medicinal benefits that you can read about, and you can actually like, oh, I want to feel like this. Let me try this. Now, the system's all different. We all have an endocannabinoid system, but it's all different. So you got to trial and error. Right. That's all it is. So you got to trial and error your system. That's why it's always start low, and especially edibles and stuff like this, and just you got to go on your journey.
Well, you know, I look at it like garlic, right? They say garlic has a lot of medicinal benefits to it, but the problem is people will start using it all the time. Like now, every single one of my dishes is going to have garlic in it, and, you know, it has health benefits. But then there's studies that show overconsumption of garlic isn't good. And that's where I think marijuana got a bad rep, because marijuana, it's like, yes, it has many medicinal benefits for certain things, but when you start overdoing it, when you become called a pothead or something like that, that's when people start looking at it like, okay, you overdid it now. Now that's why we're going to look down at this
So is that more just like, wouldn't that be more on the person basis? Because I could argue that if I'm medicinally using it, then I know that for what mood I want to be in, I have different strains. So again, if I'm in a situation I'm in and I'm not in the right mood, that's my fault. Mm-hmm. Because of my relationship as my own sort of organic doctor of what I've gone my trial and error and stuff like this. So to your point, yes, I can see that until people get it. See what I've found, and I believe until they get educated or until they're tired of, you know, getting too high and understanding that there's you can I've heard a lot of people get off of smoke. Like I'm one of them. Cigarettes, January 2nd, 2017. From smoking weed. I got off of cigarettes, smoking weed. Tommy Chong, good friend of mine, the Godfather, yo, man, do like I did, bro, and just roll up a joint every time you want to smoke a joint, bro, or roll a cigarette and smoke it, man.
Yeah.
That's what worked for me, man.
Yeah.
So that happens, man. And it worked. Worked for me.
No, yeah. Well, I was kind of backing off what you said, because before I had said that, you said that like knowing the balance, like knowing how much to intake for each individual.
And educating yourself. So that's wanting to get there. Now, I only say that because I've been over the edge and I've been to that place. The one thing is that with this cannabis plant, and anybody who knows the secret and is in it, you have to respect it. You disrespect this plant, it'll knock your ass out and make you think you're dead. And that's the beauty. So here's the beauty. The beauty is that no one's ever died from cannabis. Like what it's proven, you'd have to consume even me and Pistol here can't even smoke that much in a day to die, right? Like you can't do it, but it'll make you want to think you want to die. That's why you hear the bad rap is people that panic, that they overdo it, and they got to go to the hospital and stuff, that they're not going to die, but it's more of anxiety. So they put the wrong stuff in their system and obviously overloaded it. Right. But the plant's kicking back going, you gonna disrespect me? I'm gonna punch you in the face. You're not going to do that again, right? Which I come in from an alcoholic. Yeah. I would be I would know that I have bad hangovers, and then what would I do? I'd do it again, and then I know I'm going to just hate myself in the morning, and then I'd do it again, and I'd swear, get me out of this, get me out of there, I'll do it again. Now I don't have to worry about that. Right. I can get to every state that I want,
Well, my cousin Omar is a huge right-wing fan.
Shout out to Omar.
And I called him before I talked to you, because I was like, I know this is a big moment for both of us to be able to talk to somebody who's been at the level that you've been at. But one thing we did bring up when we were talking about you is like, dude, think about what he's been through physically and mentally, going through what he did. So it makes sense too to acquire something that's like the least. Again, alcohol is has proven to just fuck you up completely. Like there's no health benefits to alcohol. There's not really people say there's some type of nutrients effects of alcohol, whatever, but overall it's destroying you.
God bless you if you can do it. I can't, and it took me a long time to realize that's I know how it ends. I don't do things that I know how they end bad now. Right? Because I'm going to be 51 years old. So I mean, you would think that eventually sometimes I'm a slow learner and I'm a late bloomer. But when I get it, I get it.
Yeah. Well, my whole point with that is, at least with marijuana, out of every other thing you can take to help correct your body or help fix your body or get through stuff, marijuana has the least physical effects and mental effects compared to doing pills or fucking drinking alcohol.
Well, it'll heal you and it'll save you. In fact, the reason that I didn't stroke out or have a heart attack was it was said by the ER physician or whatever like this when I was going through these extreme pain and stuff like this, because of the amount of THC in my system.
Jeez.
It helped maintain the alcoholism or whatever to keep me, or else I would have been in a lot more. I was in bad shape, bro.
So marijuana was the kind of
It was the one that killed. So it was like Chernobyl. The way that it used that Rick Simpson oil, which is a plant in concentrated form, so you're getting everything. And it's in that tar base, right? So what it's doing, it's like nuking your system. So that's why my system, I can't compare it to anything else, except that I try to create, the products that would help me, or an alcoholic insomniac, right? But literally, I nuked my system. That's why I had to get that physical addiction. A lot of the things you do when you detox, but in pill form instead of cannabis form.
When you figured out that marijuana was significantly helping you, and what do you think it was associated with you needing marijuana? What do you think was the part where it's hey, I know this is for sure going to help me? Now you go through this tragedy of you could lose your life, but were you smoking before that, or did?
Oh yeah. And I didn't start till I was 27 because of an injury. I've had 3 sport hernia surgeries. One when I tore it off my groin off the bone, and I couldn't take the pills. So that's the first time I ever smoked weed, because I grew up and Ricky Williams and I, the football player who's a big marijuana guy, talked about it. You're either a jock or a stoner. So I had buddies that were the stoners, but I never smoked until I was 27 years old, because I couldn't take not sleeping and the pain, and boom, and I hit it, and it was like, boom, click, something's different.
It's fixing everything.
What's going on? Yep. So I had to maneuver that through whatever else, and it was, you know what it was? This is what I love. It was almost like the plan. And I had a conversation. We got married. We committed to each other for life, but old school till death. Like we're that Roman Catholic that you're not allowed to get divorced. You know, we're committed to each other like this, and it's just a mutual respect. And what it's done is that also too is that, like I said, I ask a lot of questions, and I surround myself, especially in the cannabis community, with people that are way smarter than me. But I'm a facilitator of knowledge. Right, I seem to absorb the stuff that means the most. Now, I don't not know if it's on purpose or whatever. It's just the way that the compassion to build. My goal is so much, you know, where I realize and I think, you know, more of a purpose, not to sound like anything other, but the 4 Stanley Cups and all the accolades of what I did on the ice and stuff like that will be a minimal in comparison to what I hope to accomplish and help in everybody who wants help, no matter what, you know, so that it will transcend even bigger than just the hockey world, that, you know, be able to talk to your audience and in the hip hop world and different stuff and all the people that love Detroit and understand, you know, why I love it too. And I mean, like, you know, Trick's the Godfather, man, and I've been, you know, following his lead for a lot of years, and you know, all his crew, and you know, couldn't thank, you know, them, because that's what, you know, represents the D, and it's just the love, like you said, that you have for him. Just want to share that because we've got great things coming. You know, here's a small flex, or not the small flex, but guys, in like 3 years, all our sports teams should be good. There's going to be a lot of action. They got to get the draft coming next year for the NFL downtown. They got to get this city popping, man. We're going to be a part of this, our city, man. We're proud of this city. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, because at one point we had hockey time.
Well, that's the thing. We'll get it back.
I hope so,
we'll get it back.
Dude, we fucking had the craziest fucking team, bro. I don't know if we can ever. We had fucking.
But we'll get it. We'll get that. We're gonna win another cup.
Just hop back on the ice.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can. You can't replay what we did, man. 4 of them.
But we haven't even been goddamn close to it. That's the problem. It's like, when the hell is Detroit gonna get back to its fucking?
Well, you gotta look at the pathway of why not. You know, the bad missteps along the way.
I feel like when I watch I watched like all of your talks, just even before I even knew you were coming on here. I mean, and I always realize one thing is, like, you're more than just talking about hockey, man. Like, as a person, your energy, the way you speak, how conscious you are, what you're putting out here, you're an influencer and an advocate for something that's going to help millions and millions of people if it's done right, and that's the whole point.
Amen. Do you? And so, which leads us back to the beginning conversation, is that why I need people like yourself and like Jazz and like Pistol and everybody that can communicate the same message, because we feel the same way, right? Yeah. So it's whatever. Like I see myself as sort of like a light, because all that stuff that you said is so important to me. Right, and if those titles is what it is to make people notice, then it'll make people notice that want to care and put in the work. Then it's for everybody around to figure out how it works into the team.
Yes.
Right, how it works into the team, or what part of the band you want to play.
Yes.
Right, and you look and you go, well, there's D-Mac. He's the singer. I think I can add some piano to this, or we need some horns, or I can play the harmonica, or you know, who knows? Maybe I could just bring out some water.
Yeah,
you know, but it'd be a part of it. That's where it is. There's a role for everybody, I think.
But then again,
but listen, I shout out to EA Sports and all the hockey games, because my video game guy is probably better than my real life guy, but they realize all the stuff that I was more than just a fighter. But I love. That's the best part. I used to play my own guy, and when my buddies would play, and they'd all tell me, yeah, we're playing your guy. He's just kicking everybody's ass and stuff. So that's a big prop to look at. And yes, pro athletes look at their rating. Yes, we do. And we would get butt sore on it. I didn't care. My skating could be whatever. That didn't matter, but I got respect and everything else, and like I could actually play my guy, and he was like actually decent.
When you're on the ice and you guys are in those vital moments, those championship moments, those moments that really count, does the aura of your internal change, does everything change within, or is it just like it's just a play, another play?
No, I think that you can embrace the moment, but here's the one thing is that, you know, they always say fight or flight, but it's always like, I'm the type of person that I realize the more people, the more excited I get, the more I love it. You put 10,000, 20,000 every night in front of me. I'm ready to perform. I'm a performer. I'm more of an entertainer than I am an athlete. You know, it's like I find that, and that's why I love doing all the different things that I do. It's because of the energy. I have a say that I'm a battery, and the people are my power, especially people of this state and the city and stuff. You know, help me through, and it's the transparency, and I think them seeing that I'm genuine. What you see is what you get. So that's the big part. You know, that's the big part, is just embracing. And the more, man, it's like that's what I love. It's like that energy, you can feed off it. Some people buckle, right? But that's some of us, and that's what, you know, the superpowers. You know, it's like Voltron with the grind line.
How's it feel when you bring a championship to Detroit in the longest time, you know what I'm saying, and seeing what happens to the city outside? Like, literally damn near riots are happening because you guys have done it. You guys are bringing everybody together. Well,
here's the thing, and that's the best part that I'm so proud of. And I know that I was down doing Tiger Fest with Frank Tanana and Dave Rosema and 84 Tigers, and they were talking about the bus that got flipped over for 84. Well, there wasn't that bad, but the parades were the most incredible. I have two photos that hang in my room, and one's of myself, Chris Draper, Kirk Maltby, Thomas Holmstrom, and Nick Lidstrom that all won 4 cups, right? We all won 4 cups. And the other one is a picture from a helicopter at the 97 parade shooting down Hart Plaza, down Woodward, right? You can't see cement, you can't see grass. It's all people, 1.4 million people. But like, it reminded me of what Ticker Tape Parade, you know, when the people came back from World War II in New York looked like. It was amazing, right? That's why I love, that's my city, and people came out, and for all the parades and stuff like this, I just love the enjoyment. Now, here's the real thing. If the Lions ever do anything and they win, this whole place will blow up, bro. You don't have to worry about a riot or anything like that. This place is just gonna.
Right.
And we'll all be in Nirvana, so it don't matter.
Yeah, because like the Pistons was huge too. Like when the Pistons had won.
Oh, absolutely.
How'd that feel too, man? I wonder if like the energy of Detroit's winning because of the Red Wings changed that.
But here's the difference, right? Pistons went out in Auburn Hills.
Yeah.
Took it away from now anything that happens is in the city, right?
Yeah.
And especially in the stadium and stuff. And yeah, I can't wait till the playoffs and deep in the playoffs for basketball or hockey at LCA, because the acoustics in that place are awesome.
When you guys are winning games and you guys are on the when you go to Detroit now, are you going to Detroit after party life? Are you going to Detroit after a win? Like when you guys were all together as a team, like did you guys have that bond?
Dude, the Post Bar downtown is that's where all us younger guys hung out from probably like 93 till probably 99, 2000.
Yeah.
And then, but there was also, then it moved to the Post that was in Ferndale, and there was like 7 of them by the time, you know, in a couple of years when we win the cup and stuff like this. But I do after clubs. Sergey was a big after clubs guy, so I go with him a bunch of times and stuff like this. But Lush and Hamtramck was always a good one. You know, so not, you know, maybe some, you know, hung out in Royal Oak I hung out a lot of spots, I ain't got to tell you, but I knew downriver was where to be a lot of the time. So,
man. Now, like we said, you know, cannabis companies are emerging. They're branding themselves. Amazon's talking about buying stuff if they ever becomes federally legal. All these things are happening to make it a bigger and bigger. I know part of the game's dying. I know a lot of people are hurting right now when it comes to the sale of marijuana and stuff like that, because there's so much branding going on.
Here's the whole thing, and that's the one thing that I come up against. So the reality is when I released the Darren McCarty brand with Pinkana, which was a company, but my contract ran out after 2 years, and I've been out of the game. I haven't made $1 from cannabis in over a year.
Jeez.
Right, because I'm still. I know what I want. It operates differently where people where you see a brand with the name on it. Well, you know, the celebrity brand, well, that's a certain one deal. Well, I'm a celebrity, but I have a brand, right? So it's about what's the best thing. I'm here for the long game. So a lot of it has been working in Canada and Australia and stuff with the CBD and the CBN, because I split the brand up, you know, and I'm waiting to see if there's somebody here that can produce. Now the conversations changed because of other states. Now, who can get you in other states if that's the message you're going to do? For me, it's don't tell me what, tell me who. So who grows it and their mission and the compassion.
Yeah.
To me, there's two groups. There's the money and there's the compassion. Yeah, the money seems like it's hurting right now because people are in it for the wrong reason and aren't in it for the long haul. And it's not, the long haul ain't 5 years or 10 years. The long haul is for my grandkids, great grandkids, and their grandkids and whatever like this. This is a lifestyle. This is just like you go every morning and get your milk from the grocery store or whatever else.
Well, one person that obviously shines when it comes to talking about it like that with that, celebrity that has the brand now is Mike Tyson, right?
Oh, yeah, because he lives it.
Yeah.
Right. So there's another guy that it's important because, with his brand, and so everybody who has it like promotes it the same way. But for me, a lot like if who's producing it, right? And again, it goes back to the team effort. I mean, yeah, I could do it by myself, but what fun is that? No, seriously. I want somebody to be invested, and I want somebody to be creative, and I want, the collaboration. I want to enjoy it. I mean, that's great. Hey, you won by yourself. I guess I experienced that my last year in junior. I won Player of the Year. All I want to think about is the guys that helped me get there. So great, trophy stuff. I'd rather win Cops, man. I'd rather win team event, win cannabis. That's my goal. Is I got Stanley Cups. I'm going to be the first guy with Stanley Cups and Cannabis Cups.
That'd be sweet.
So, and I believe my roll-on is one of the best out there because of the ingredients.
I'm going to need some because my lower back, son, I cannot sleep. I don't know what it is, man.
There's so much good stuff on the market, man. And a lot of the stuff where people understand with topicals, too, is get the stuff with the THC in it because as long as it's not transdermal, you're not going to get high. The reason they put the THC in it is because when the cannabinoids interact, it makes them more powerful. And different cannabinoids interact with different cannabinoids,
Yeah, because people think they're going to get in trouble for having THC on their body. Are we back on? Yeah, we rolling. Rocking and rolling. I was, it's hard to say this because I try not to say this, but I am technically an alcoholic, technically speaking. The way I kind of figured it out was like 7 years ago. I drink like almost every day, and my friend's like to me, "You're an alcoholic." I was like, "No, I'm not." He's like, "Okay, don't stop drinking today, just 2 days in a row." I was like, "Get the fuck out of my face! I'm not gonna stop drinking for 2 days. That sounds insane." He said, "You're an alcoholic then," and I do look at it now like, okay, if you're drinking every day, you're a fucking alcoholic. At the end of the day, that's it. Like you need it every day. That means you are an alcoholic. Now I'm trying to. I stopped before and I felt great, but I went back into it because it took a certain part of love out of my life. That I don't know what it is, but I need alcohol in order to fulfill a certain part of how I feel about life in just general. Like when I feel like I'm doing the greatest things in the world, I'm like, I gotta drink to this tonight, man.
And there's nothing wrong with that if it doesn't affect the rest of your life and it gets to you when you look in the mirrors, you like who you are.
Yeah.
Right? Use whatever you need to use. I don't condone anything. I don't care. I want you to be the best version of you. Right? I know what doesn't work for me and I know what doesn't work for a lot of people. And I know a lot of people that are like you that consume every day and it doesn't affect them in one bit. Yeah, no, I don't think it's all about self-awareness, right? I believe it's okay as long as it's in moderate. Like, I mean, you go to learn how to drink a glass of wine a day. You know what I'm saying? It's like I would say balance, moderation, but you look in the mirror and if you like where you're getting to or you're coming to now, here's the thing: if it's becoming more of a priority on your list and stopping you, if you want to look at why you're not in the place you are, where you thought you'd be or whatever, well, look at the roadblocks you've put in your life. And if it's a roadblock, or if it's not, maybe it's part of your journey. Yeah. Maybe it's the speed that you want to travel at, right? So I guess it's just to explore the options and to see what your options are. And as long as at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, so as long as you don't lie to yourself, so if you know it is or it isn't, it doesn't take anybody else. It's how you're going to deal with it. In AA, they say work your program. Right? The biggest problem I have with that is because of the fact that it used to be the old cold hard. I live by the principles of AA, but they didn't have. But mine has a garden in it because the garden was missing. Because I need that because of whatever mental issues and stuff, the way to balance it out and help my system. Dude, I used to be 80 pounds heavier. Do you get that?
Man.
And it's not like I work out or whatever. It's my diet and my cannabis consumption of how I know how to curb my appetite, how I know how to maintain my, like, there's so much to be learned. And then you can learn, and then if you're into it and you're passionate about it, go your angle to fight. There's so many different ways to consume that you never have to smoke it, but you can get the benefits of it if you care to. You know, I hear so many people all the time complain about this pain and that pain, but what do you do about it? Right? Do you ask questions? Do you don't know? You just bitch and moan and then you move on and you don't care? Or do you? I live with somebody like that. Yeah. That has CBD sitting by their bedside, right? And finally takes it the other night again and has the greatest night's sleep, whatever like this. It's like, yes, of course, because you know you got letting your system work for. So whatever that is, whoever that is, don't tell me what, tell me who. Find what works for you. Now, if that's friends that are big bourbon guys. They love the top shelf bourbon and stuff like this. And I love listening to them talk about it. Yeah. To each their own. Again, it comes back to the mirror. Yeah. I just know that this works for me, and I know that what I love about it, and the biggest thing, I guess, is that I learned, so you gotta understand, I've been through 4 rehabs also, right? So the one thing is maybe I'd stumble and fall, right? But I'd always continue to get back up. But I learned the lessons, right? One of the lessons I learned is my heart virtue, which, for lack of a better term, is what makes you tick. You know, you're in a room and you're like, something's off or something, you feel good. It's your heart virtue. My heart virtue is vulnerable truth with integrity. And the lies against the cannabis plant, now that I know the truth, is a vulnerable truth that I have to handle with integrity. So I'm a weed warrior at the forefront just for the truth. And the only question I need to ask, do you know you have an option? Because if the person that says no, and they're just going to the person in the white coat that's filling something out and telling you that, like, that's over with. Yeah. We know that, because don't lie to me about education. The education's out there. We know this. So now what are we doing about it? Right. And it's for everybody that wants it. Don't care what race, religion, sexual orientation, color, creed, country. I don't care. If you want, like, this is for you, because it was put here for all of us. Yeah. Yeah. And just knowing how to balance it, like you said, right? Well, it's self-aware. It's it's a self journey. Okay, so let's break it down for me. I'm 7.5 years into sobriety. I've been seriously using cannabis, let's say started to get educated. So 10 years. Say I'm 10 years in the game. I'm pretty dialed in to how I want my system, right? But still, every now and then, we'll trying different things of how to applicate it, apply it, whatever like this. The best ways to learn that I've found is with a topical, right? To get that feeling if you got an ouchie. Why is that ouchie? Why don't I feel that ouchie anymore? And a tincture, which is a drop in one of your drinks or whatever, so you can always baby step and always go on your own little adventure, because that's the greatest thing, right? The cannabis plant it's your own journey. Yes. It's a lot like you said about mind, body, and soul and stuff about getting everything right. This is a conduit, I believe, to all of making the Holy Trinity whole. Yeah. Right. Helping it work. Right. Fuel. Right. Now you met a lot of fucking cool people doing this in this aspect of it, right? I'm sure when you were on the Red Wings, you met a lot of fucking awesome people. But Tommy Chong, man, you know what I mean? What the hell is that all? He's cool ass. What's up with Tommy, man? Tommy's great, dude. I'm actually be doing something with him. I think in about a month or something. I could sit down. I love he's a godfather. He's just fucking legend. He is a legend, because in what you see, he's genuine. Mm. What you see is what you get, and he cares about people, and he has great, he's a great conversationalist. He makes you think and has great advice. Did you guys meet because of cannabis, or was it before that? Talk about how it happened. I believe the first time was probably at one of the hash bashes or cannabis events, probably in 2014, 15. People forget that Cheech and Chong literally transcended what comedy is. They're one of the fucking starters. First of all, high fucking weed
shows and weed
Listen,
skits and weed movies and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
The pothead movement and making it feel cool and fun. But comedy itself, they literally changed the game.
Dude, the Corsican Brothers is one of my favorite words. The twin brothers, and you hit one and the other one feels it. I still watch that once a year when I get stoned, and just because I laugh. It's funny comedy, dude.
Dude, they had like Pee Wee Herman in their movies and shit.
Oh, dude.
The fuck?
It's that air, but again, and you're younger too, but it's like the fact that we can talk about that or whatever you understand of the comedy in it, and it's deeper than, like you said, my hockey game's deeper than being the fighter. Their comedy's deeper than just being a bunch of stoners.
Well, it was a culture, like at the time, obviously marijuana is completely illegal. It's looked down upon. And then there's these guys who come out and make movies about it. Like, nope. Because people could relate. Like, I really am those guys, but we can't talk about it.
Well, you know what I said is we're getting out of the, when I try, you got to remember it's the new frontier with the can. It's just so early that you got to remember is most people were playing whack-a-mole. Right, you had to peep your head out, look around, try not to get hit, look around. Like now, you don't have to play whack-a-mole, so you got to remember that it's new for your neighbor to be able to say, "Oh yeah, dude, I grow too," or whatever. So it's just making people, no matter what, comfortable.
Yeah.
Right, and I just want people to be the best version of themselves they can be, and sometimes, and whether you do or you don't, if it's not for you, and you want and you have an alternative, as long as you know that you have an option.
Yeah.
That's all it is. As long as you know you have an option, whether you take it or not, dude, I'm along the way.
Yeah. Well, what other like connections have you been making on this new stride, and what kind of like doors have been opening as far as breaking into the cannabis industry?
No, I mean, actually, it's just sort of like you said. Would you say there's been turbulence, especially? It's more of there's more options that have been open, so more conversation have been had, and I'm just wondering when it comes to something I'm so passionate about is I'm going to do all my due diligence. And again, I was in a contract and with Pinkana and stuff like this, and I realized what I will do differently. And what I want and what I need to, it's a different game. So that's the whole thing is that I'm exhausting every opportunity to see if I can get what I want before going in different directions. It would be a lot easier for everybody if somebody can handle everything, right? But if I have to piece it out, I have to piece it out to the best possible person. But again, hopefully sooner than later, But again, that like if people don't understand, I haven't made $1 in cannabis in a year.
Yeah,
the money's not important to me. The fact is that when I set this foundation, much like Steve Yzerman is trying to do with this Red Wings team, it's exactly the same thing.
When you were talking earlier about what needs to change with Detroit sports, well, I guess I would ask you about the Red Wings itself. Like, you got Yzerman that's running the show, so you believe in him so much that you know it's going to be okay.
It takes time because you got to get the money right, and he did. Now you got to get the draft. Like, if you look at to see, because it's a salary cap, and he's got enough money, and then you got to get the right players. And now he just signed Dylan Larkin for 8 years as his captain. So it's just about getting the pieces together because it's not there yet with the draft, but he's bringing the guys along the way. The guys like Mo Sider. Got a new guy like Simon Edvidson that's coming up. So it's just young. If I would compare it to back in our day, this is like 93, 94.
And you
still
got
got a few, maybe not even, maybe 91, 92.
So we're about 6 years away from...
No, I'd say 4 or 5.
From competing or
no,
from...
from Cup.
Really?
From Cup finals. Or at least, conference finals.
Wow.
Yzerman already knows what he needs. He's been there.
Right. He did it with Tampa. He's not only done it as a player, he did it with Tampa. He's helped build that team. You see he's doing the same thing. You just got to do plug and play. Who's going to be this guy? Who's going to be this guy? But, you do it with the way the game's changed and... he's still like... So
fans should be like patient when they're seeing teams make moves that we don't understand.
They have to, because if you're solidifying the foundation, it takes time because you don't want to, you're not building a stick or straw. You're building, you're building the mansion. You're building the brick.
Fortress, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're building the base, right, to make sure that there can be
the base is built.
On, right?
The base is built. Now you're building it by brick. Remember, we played 20. Remember, there's 25 straight years of playoffs. I never missed playoffs when I played. Yeah. Right? Remember all that streak when you guys were growing up and stuff like that? That's what he's trying to get back to.
Yeah. When you look at Detroit Pistons too, and the NFL and everything, it's all the. Do you think it's the same play? I think the Lions.
No,
is the only one
Lions can get better quicker because that's the way the NFL is built. And you look at this offseason, the way that they've added to what their weakest part of their team was, the defensive backs, by the signings that they've had, they got an opportunity. There's a reason they're favored to win the North, and there's a reason that they're, I think they're 10th in the Super Bowl odds and stuff like this. So. Yeah, they're going to be exciting, and they have the opportunity, whether it's this year, next year, with the players that they have, to pop this city. Like I said, blow the city up if they win.
Right. Are you paying attention to basketball at all?
Oh yeah, and this year is tough because of the injuries and stuff like this. But it'll be interesting to see how the lottery goes, and if who you're going to pick, if it's Wembayama or Scoot or, the Alabama dude, Miller. So we'll see. Is Dwayne Casey the guy? Who knows? I think the injury to Cunningham and just everybody else, I'm more interested in is Wiseman going to work out? What's the big man situation? Because, the East is a little bit bigger, but they just got to be healthy. I'm just interested that Cade comes back healthy because I think he's the right guy. Love his love for the city. Again, we get back to talking about love for the city. I believe that ever since he was rocking buffs on opening on draft day, that dude he had me had me at hello.
Well, because a lot of Detroit rappers, it's so cool to see how Detroit rappers are staying so close to the sports team, and that the sports team are allowing rappers to be connected.
I think it's the best. I think it's awesome because because not only that, and especially in the city too. And if it's true, because then it's organic and everybody wants to be involved because we're big fans too, and like everybody wants to win together. And whether you're cheering or whatever, you want to feel a part of it. So I think it's amazing.
Yeah, man, it's a different time. It's a very different time, and I feel like athletes are more open now, and they're being able to express themselves more now than they were back then.
Especially in basketball, I think the basketball they really let you show the individual and stuff like this to the guys that want to, right? Yeah. And because you know what it is, because the fans, it's giving the fans something that they want, and as long as it's and they're respectful and it seems guys are enjoying it no matter what they're doing, then. Yeah. It's
well, it's
cool.
a relatability and a realness too, because I think like Allen Iverson broke down those doors, right? When Allen Iverson came with the cornrows and a little bit of aggressiveness and a little bit of a way of showing the hip hop culture, I don't think the NBA liked it at the time. I don't know if they did, but
they've changed.
But now it's like so cool, like it's so open. Like even the games now have the music and the intros. It's Detroit music or it's street music and stuff like that. They're not afraid to like showcase like, okay, this is a part of the culture. Let's bring it out here. Let's not hide it.
And especially if you imagine this, think about this: is that if you can write a song or put a beat together, something that you're guys on the team that you cheer for, that they want to get warmed up to, and that fires them up for the game, you feel connected to that. I think that's cool, and it's cool that the Pistons especially listen.
Yeah.
Listen to their players or listen to, what the guys want. So there's a connection too, and I think that's awesome, especially here in Detroit.
With yourself as a person right now, you said you've been sober for a while now, away from alcohol and things of that nature. Is it easy now? Is it easy to?
Yeah, definitely to the fact that it's not about me, and because I look at alcohol like olives. I hate it. I have no use for olives. I hate olives.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's just like in that alcohol. And I know how the story ends. Right, because I've tried it so many times that I had the answer that I could do it again and do it again. Let me tell you, my greatest thing is I know that if I drank today, right, I'll be right back to where I ended, and that's cool. Because I mean, put it this way, that's cool. Because put it this way, I tried to jump across from crick to crick as many times till I finally had to say, nope, that's it. If I do that, I die. Yeah, and there's certain things that I just know that if I do, that I quote unquote will die, and I just refuse to do those things anymore.
Yeah, and I'm really listening to you because you're right. I'm not gonna do it, but you're right.
Because, no. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. As long as that you take in the information, it's like what I found too is that. I'm sitting here going that I got it when I was supposed to get it.
Yeah.
And I went through a whole lot of shittier stuff. Now I just sit here, but my experience is that it'll get a lot worse before it gets better, right? So the thing is that if you believe Uncle D, then you only want the Band-Aid instead of the amputation. But maybe you're like Uncle D and you need the amputation to teach you that, okay, I can't do it. If I didn't bang my head against the wall, no one was going to tell me like not to do it. It's all whatever mental stuff. And it took a lot of work, talking to a lot of people, getting it out. Like I tell anybody, mental health wise, is you got to get it out of here. That's why I have the band. That's why I write songs. That's why I write that's why I do podcasts. That's why I do Woodward Sports and do comedy and tell stories and all this different stuff, because I get it all out, you know, and then you have to get the demon. And as long as at the end of the day in the mirror, you're fine. And then if you know that if there's a day where you're not fine, you have the resources, a friend, a website, maybe a quote. I mean, whatever like this, someplace, go listen to some music. Maybe there's an artist that really can hit you, because they speak to you,
That's what Kobe Bryant spoke about. When he retired from the NBA, he's like, I had to get into business.
Yeah, because he's got Mamba mentality, man. It's killer mentality. That's why I do the wrestling stuff. I need to bleed every now and then just to and go through a table just to let the crazy.
What wrestling stuff are we talking about?
Oh, I did. I got Bully Ray, Bubba Ray Dudley threw me through a table Friday night on Impact. And on the pay-per-view Sacrifice, and then I'm involved in stuff like that. Yeah, I do the independence. I do deathmatch stuff too with Tommy Vendetta, the lovable psychopath, out of Detroit, Michigan.
So you're the one who can tell us that, man. Is this shit real, man? Are you really getting hit? Because it sounds like you got hurt.
No, I went through the table, dude. Like it's physical. It's choreographed stunt work.
But it hurts.
Yes, dude. Like, and I'm punching. I got my hands on Bubba Ray Dudley, and I punched him in the face a bunch of times.
Jesus.
And I punched a whole bunch of people in the face.
Oh my God.
That's what we do. It's entertainment, buddy.
Yeah, but it's just fucking. That's nuts. Like, I think a lot of us want to be warriors internally and go out and do all that stuff, but like, I don't know what stops us. I think injury stops me. I think I would have been a fighter. My brother is a fighter, but I think I would have been a fighter if I wasn't scared of getting hurt.
You fear the consequence.
Fuck that, dude. Because it's like permanent injury sometimes.
I don't fear the consequence. I relish the consequence.
But the permanent injury, bro. That's the problem. Like,
okay,
my brain's going to change after this.
And that's why everybody thinks differently. Right? I also, too, that there's nothing you can put me through that worse than I've already not been through.
Yeah.
Let's have that mentality.
All right. You're the champ. I can't fucking argue with the champ.
No, you can. Because you're smarter than I am.
Oh, yeah,
and
right.
a road less. No, dude, you're smarter than I am because you're less where your balance or your boundaries are, and that's cool. I use it like this. Bob Probert, right, former tough guy, right, for the Red Wings, right, who's known he's known for having alcohol and drug issues and stuff like that. Got caught at the border. Remember him? Good friend of mine. But what I used to say is Proby taught me that he didn't know where the line was, but when he crossed it, he unveiled it to me so I could tiptoe on it, right? So now he passed away, not because of addiction, because of a heart attack, fixing his boat, and it was sad as hell. He's been gone over 10 years, right? But all the lessons that he's taught me, just like everybody else, is you try to live, through you, right? So it's all the lessons. So now you're carrying that flag. To me, I look at it, a lot of stuff that I've lost a lot of people, whether it's family members or teammate, former teammates or stuff like this. But so have a lot of people in life, in their neighborhood, in their family. So have a lot of people just like in, war and when they go on. And so we're all, doesn't matter what it is, we've all experienced that. We know what loss is like. So it's just having the compassion for each other.
With what you're saying, it's like what reminds me of movie formats, and a lot of people don't realize that movies are really about transformation. Like, you take the main character, and how is he going to transform to become the ultimate version of himself at the end?
Yeah.
And so you're doing that. You're saying, I know what it's going to be. But then again, there's the people who learn the easy way and the people who learn the hard way. And the hard way is what makes people change. I'm going to be a hard way learner when it comes to alcohol. I've already been one, but it's going to continue to be that. But it's okay.
But your self-awareness to it hopefully will ease whatever pain instead of being more painful than it has to be.
Yeah.
You understand that though. And and I understood it too. And It's you got. But if you don't live it and go through it, and if you don't do it that way and get it done with, if you leave that iota percentage, right, that date, whatever like that, right, then it'll never be gone. You got to get, when it's time, you want to flush it clean, if that's your purpose.
What's the stuff when you wake up first thing in the morning that's on your mind?
Oh, what am I going to smoke? No, the first thing is I better feed the cats because they're going to get upset. I got 2 Persians, 3-year-olds, King Louis and Princess Penelope Lou, and they need to eat as I put the coffee on and decide which what I'm going to go with that day. How my day entails, and I have time. As I've gotten older, I like to have a few hours to get my day going, so that's what I think about, and just about how am I going to conquer the day.
Yeah.
How am I going to be a positive influence, and you know, there's always a message during the day. It's just, can you receive it or not?
Yeah. Are you like staying in Michigan as far as like?
Yeah, I live in Royal Oak.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm here. I do Woodward Sports in Birmingham, 11 to 1 show called Big D Energy every day, which is on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. Sports show, talk about all Detroit sports and stuff. So
Cool.
do a lot of that. So I'm around. I mean, I do a lot of wings stuff, the in-game stuff. I do a lot of stuff with the season ticket holders and stuff like this. So that's what I love. Like I said, I'm a battery in their power, and I'm everybody that you know involved with the Detroit Red Wings, that you know from the past that has won cups or whatever, that is involved in the team, is doing everything they want, including me, which is everything that doesn't have to do with anybody on the ice. Has to do with the fans, has to do with the arena, has to do with all that stuff. And it's perfect.
No, yeah, it's fucking awesome. Because I feel like, you know, you can be an influence. Only people, you know why you're a rare person is because you're a person who is influential because of his actions. When it came to one of the most seen things, which is the NHL, which is the Red Wings, one of the most seen things, but then off the ice, you're highly influential as well. And you can't say that about every athlete. You can't say that when they get off the field or off the ice or off the court that they're going to be highly influential.
Yeah, but and my response to whatever it is everybody's a human and everybody's different.
I'm not saying there's something wrong with it.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but I would say that, you know, more times than the norm. I mean, you see, like, now somebody asked me the other day about, oh, did you see, like, wrestler getting upset about signing autographs? I was like, dude, I don't know. I'm not them. I know how I handle it, and you come with me with respect, I'll sign so the sun comes home. Anybody who knows me that I'm doing a signing, if I'm at LCA or whatever like that, they call me Mayor of Hockey Town, because all I do is sign, and I'll wait and I'll do pictures, and dude, I love it. I want that interaction, but that's me. I know a lot of my teammates aren't like that. A lot of people are, you know, busy doing other things. So the capacity, I think you nailed it though, is that action, right? If I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you. Going back to March 26, 97 with Lemieux. I mean, I hope I don't got to punch you, but I will. That's all it is. Like, I can come at you any which way you want.
Yeah.
I don't want to come hard, but I got it in my bag. Whoops.
But, you know, I had to hit a friend one time, and not because I wanted to hit him, but because I knew he needed to be hit.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds fucked up, but it's true, because
No.
there's some things you just can't do, right? And you need to learn this now. And also, I have people to show.
Did the action, did the result and the action match up to what you wanted?
Yes.
Perfect.
It took 2 weeks. But, like, the person finally got it. Like, oh, if I hadn't done this now, I would have done it somewhere else where I wasn't safe doing it. But even in your circumstance...
No, but that's, you know, like, so to the lesson of self, to whatever else, and hopefully that you were able, like, somebody was able to, I call it, like, the small fire, the you know, the molehill instead of the mountain.
Well, with what you did, I think with what you did, how conscious were you? Like, when you're making the decision, like you said, I'm going to hit you, but I'm not going to... Is it an anger? Is it a reason?
Which are you talking specifically the Mew thing?
Yeah,
the
like,
March 26th.
Yeah, like how conscious are you?
Well, remember when he hit Chris Draper from behind and
Yeah.
broke his jaw in 4 spots and crushed his orbital bone? That was 10 months earlier. So I've been thinking about it for like 10 months. Right, but here's the whole thing: is we had to win the game because not only did they beat us out the year before, we hadn't beaten them all throughout this year. So if we were 2 top teams, Colorado and Detroit. We had to win the game, so I had to allow this to happen. I would have done something stupid at the end of the game if nothing had happened, but the way it played out was better than any Hollywood script ever. Now I know I'm biased because I'm the star, but gosh darn it, go watch it. I mean, I got the cold cock here because I tell everybody when I pull my right hand back, every man, woman, and child and pet and whatever else in the wing world, no matter how old you were, was in that fist when I blasted him.
Ooh, my kid.
Right, and he into it. We call it the turtle pitcher because he turtled, and he said he didn't. Claude himself said he didn't turtle. He said he was knocked out.
Oh my
It's the
God.
hardest he ever been hit. And I smashed his face on the boards, kneed him in the head. Still got a welt to this day. Then the goalies are fighting and everything's going on, and I got 4 minutes for roughing, which I would have got suspended for like 20 games today. And I scored the overtime winner.
Yeah, man.
So I got the girl and slayed the dragon, got the girl. And then we won the cup.
How did it feel to get your point across to the whole Avalanche team?
Karma.
Fucking touching people.
Karma's real. Karma's real. That's a God shot, bro. I'm just a messenger.
Yeah.
That's why I think that there's a little bit like when even all as influential, like you said, a man of action. So that's what I try to lead by, to this day, even more so. Dude, I was as dialed in and focused as I was like when we talked about making it to the NHL.
Yeah. Man, no, this is like, first of all, bro, it's like I told you, it's an honor to have you here. It's an honor to speak with somebody that's, again, like did it at the highest level, and you continue to do everything at the highest level. You want to put all of your energy into whatever you do, and I think that's the most important thing because, like I told you earlier, there was a certain point where I realized, like, God damn it, dude, I was supposed to do things at a way higher level. And when I sit next to somebody like you, it motivates me to do that.
Good.
And I love what you talk about with the cannabis industry too, because I think there are a lot of people who are just misinformed and have already rejected the idea of using it to help themselves. So it's a good thing to help somebody who can showcase why you need it. You're showing why it's needed for some people at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And you know what? Sometimes it's when hopefully it doesn't get down to being sick and tired of being sick and tired, but if it does, then you know that there's somewhere to go. Even the staunchest of people that were so misinformed now use it daily and enjoy life.
Sure. Darren, man, hopefully, I hope you come back one day, man. I hope you fucking pop
Love
back
it, man.
on.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the connection. I look forward to seeing you out in the city and appreciate everything to do for the city of Detroit, kid. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, man. This was an awesome talk. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jazz, the CEO, for helping put this together. On a
Executioner.
seriously, amazing day for me, man. I think, damn it, Cash Doll's gonna kill me, but yeah, man, I was looking forward more to this than the Cash Doll.
No,
interview, man.
second. I was second. I'll take second. Grind line. Don't worry, Cash Doll. I mean, he's all
I
been
can't lie,
talking
baby.
about.
I can't lie. No, Darren, this was huge, man. Again, energy for me. Somebody who's putting their energy to the max capacity is somebody that that's what influences me and that's what motivates me to do better in my own life. So thank you for being here and doing that for us. We're at Parallel Sound Studio. High Low Visuals is shooting these productions. D-Mac was in the building. We're out. Peace.